Carolyn O'Neill with cuisine from Clinton Country on the nutrition edition of Living in the 90s. Tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern on CNN.
The inauguration ceremonies provide a new president a unique opportunity to communicate with the American people in symbols, not just in words. And this day in particular was rich with images.
Our Father in heaven, what a privilege is mine to come before you with these who worship you today, to pray for the one that we have been privileged to call our friend, our brother, and shortly, our president. And yet, Father, as we are cognizant of...
I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear.
I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
That I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
And will to the best of my ability.
And will to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Not change for change's sake, but change to preserve America's ideals. Life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. I salute my predecessor, President Bush, for his half-century of service to America. We have changed the guard, and now each in our own way, and with God's help, we must answer the call. Thank you, and God bless you all.
The 42nd president on stage at his inauguration here at the Arkansas Ball in Washington, playing the sax given to him moments ago by Benny King, the singer. As Judy Collins takes the stage to sing, to continue the celebrations here, people are kind of milling around. They're wondering when the Clintons are planning on coming back. There's a rumor that they're supposed to come back here later this evening and perhaps even jam some more with some of the musicians. Some of the folks that I talked to here said that they are thrilled in particular to have someone, one of their own, someone from Arkansas. Many people said, I never expected to see someone from my poor southern state here being, of course, at the White House. One woman who claims to have known Bill Clinton for quite some time, of course, a lot of people are going to tell you that, but this woman says she really does know him, says, I hope the White House will keep Bill Clinton on schedule, a reference to his frequent tardiness. Now, the presidency, of course, is so much more than merely keeping time. President Harry Truman once wrote, no one who has not had the responsibility can really understand what it is like to be president. And as the inauguration euphoria fades, as the bands and the stars pack up and go home, as the glittery gowns are put into closets and the shoes are tucked away for the next parties, William Jefferson Clinton, the 42nd president of the United States, will begin to understand that responsibility that Truman talked about and the hard realities, of course, of the presidency. His journey from hope to the White House, he now faces a far more daunting task, the task of fulfilling the hopes and the dreams of the American people. I'm Susan Rook, reporting live from Washington. Thank you for joining us on this historic day.
What a wonderful day to celebrate. I woke up, it was a Chelsea morning in the
Sports Tonight is next here on CNN. For an update on the day's top stories, you can turn to Headline News. Check local listings for channel number.
Don't look, Ethel!
It's Ray Stevens' comedy video classics.
Here comes
Boogie Dad, Boogie Dad.
There goes,
Boogie Dad, Boogie Dad.
and he ain't wearing no clothes.
Hold it!
Ray Stevens has sold millions of comedy records.
Yeah, I did.
You've listened and laughed at him for over 2 decades.
Come and lay here by my side. Till the early morning light.
Now, for the first time, you can see him on home video in 8 of his greatest, funniest hits.
Are you naked?
And you get it all on one hilarious VHS videotape.
You should have seen the look in her eyes when that squirrel jumped her garters and crossed her thighs, and she jumped to her feet and said, Lord, have mercy on me.
You'll get the Mississippi Squirrel, the Streak,
Oh, yes, they call him the street.
Sitting Up with the Dead,
And Uncle Fred just sat right up.
Surfing USSR. Santa Claus is watching you.
He's everywhere. He's everywhere.
Help me make it through the night.
It's easy for you to say.
And
Me again, Margaret. They got me, Margaret.
this collection also includes one of Ray Stevens' most loved songs.
Everything is beautiful. It's all made. We'll have a big old time, Margaret.
So pick up that telephone and start dialing now. Here's how to order.
For rush delivery of your Ray Stevens classic comedy video, use your credit card and call 1-800-257-1257. That's 1-800-257-1257. Or send $19.95 plus $4.50 shipping to Ray Stevens, P.O. Box 8250, Atlanta, Georgia 30306. That's 1-800-257-1257.
This is CNN.
CNN Sports Tonight is Charlie Barkley, and you can debit his account another several grand as he's ticketed for beefing the refs Monday. We'll have the totals and highlights. Plenty of action on the court as the Hornets venture into the ouch house. Can Steve Smith and the Heat cool out the suddenly sizzling Sixers? In college hoops, Michigan gets all it wants in Minnesota and then some. In hockey, they take it to the wall in Montreal. Some eye-popping goaltending as the Habs host New Jersey. And it's the People's Court in Canada, the case of Lindros versus the Beard Lady.
Beard lady.
Well, we'll get to that.
We'll find out.
explain.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Nick Charles.
And I'm Fred Hickman, and we've got lots to talk about tonight, including Charles Barkley and his fiscal fitness.
Yeah, he's going to need a calculator soon. Charles Barkley had a very expensive lesson again. The Phoenix Suns superstar was suspended for one game without pay and fined $10,000 for vaulting over the scorer's table at the end of Monday's game and chasing after an official whom Charles thought had blown a call. Barkley scrambled to his feet down the Madison Square Garden Hall, where he went wild. Charles said he never had violence in mind, but when he learned of his suspension and fine, Barkley was partially repentant, philosophical, and still managed to zing the NBA almost in the same breath.
But hey, it's unfortunate I'm not going to get a chance to play tonight. What I did was wrong, and got to abide by their decision. I don't think it warranted a suspension, but I think you know how, I know what they got to do. They got to keep people coming, so they got to control the image of the league. So I understand that. It's over now. It really don't matter. If you do something wrong in life, it really doesn't matter if you regret it or not. It's over with. You just have to deal with the repercussions.
Yes, actions do have consequences. Barkley's suspension without pay for tonight's game cost him nearly 30 G's. And in less than 4 seasons, his running tab is approaching national debt proportion. The good news is all the money goes to charity, and Charles Barkley has become a philanthropist in more ways than one. Meanwhile, Cedric Ceballos started for Barkley and struck for 10 first-quarter points at Cleveland tonight. And look at this. You talk about high-speed stuff. Did the ball ever hit the ground just once? The hoop and the lay-in. Paul Westfall's club was in it early, but Cleveland could move to transition. Terrell Brandon to Larry Nance. Or Terrell Brandon, and then the Cavs with the steal. Craig Elo ahead to Gerald Wilkins, the tomahawk jam. Cavs by 7. Phoenix, though, tied it at 98. And then late in the game, Cavs show how to do it from the half court. Danny Ferry is hacked, goes to the hoop, and gets the basket. The Suns, though, chop it down to 5. And then Mark Price falls down. KJ steals and gets mugged, a 3-point play. So they are in it again. But the Cavs too tough. They haul down a couple of offensive rebounds, kick it out to Elo, who finds Nance for the monster jam. Larry Nance had 20 points, 15 rebounds, and Mark Price, besides that boo-boo, had 12 of his 26 points in the fourth quarter. And Phoenix goes down at Cleveland minus Charles Barkley. Fred?
Well, the next stop is New York's Madison Square Garden, more affectionately known on Knicks game nights these days as the Ouch House. The Knicks, you see, have become a team which does not mind flexing out for the visitors, which is why only one team had cracked 100 on them at home this season. Well, tonight, the Charlotte Hornets were in the house, a team which had outlasted the Knicks once already this season in an overtime game. What would happen tonight? Let's look. Alonzo Mourning, the Rook, tried to set the pace for the Hornets with the block shot, and that's what Alan Bristow wanted to see. He did not want to see this. Charles Smith finishing the break in fine fashion. Knicks by 18 in the first. Patrick Ewing, the other Georgetown guy in the mix out there, ball away Jay there with a hot hand. Later on the break, Starks alley-oop, Ewing, yes, layup, and this one was turning into a rout. Starks, well, he added 24 points, 2 on the nice scoop shot there. And Greg Anthony, nice give and go with Patrick Ewing right there. Later still, Charles Oakley, the alley-oop to Starks, an interesting role reversal. And still later, the Knicks beat the press like a drum. Starks finds Ewing, and Alan Bristow was ill. 30 points in the game for Ewing as the Knicks go on to win at 114-91. The Hornets dropping their 4th in a row. Ewing with that 30 points, as I mentioned, and John Starks with another big night, 9 of 14 from the field for 24 points. On to Boston for the Celtics and the Hawks. Kevin Willis not dressed out for this particular game, but boy, did they miss him. Sherman Douglas, long outlet to the X-Man, who finishes off the break with a slam. Tight game, though, and it's only a 2-point affair Boston's way. Now, Kevin McHale, double team down low, so somebody's got to be open. Douglas, and then X-Man with a nice touch pass right there for the easy 2. Then in the second, the Hawks on the break. Mookie gets it over to Dominique Wilkins, who slams that thing home. Wilkins had 35 in the game. Now the third. Boston is still up. Sherman Douglas nearly loses it. McDaniel, though, comes up with it and drains the little 18-foot jumper. In fact, in that period, Boston outscored the Hawks 31-15. Dominique, he's icing up that hand, trying to keep it loose and limber. Hey, that's the way it goes. Another loss on the road for the Atlanta Hawks as they lose 121-106. The X-Man had 27. Robert Parrish, though, the big story here, the old man becoming the third player in NBA history to play 1,300 games. Alvin Hayes and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are the other two. Nick?
Well, the Trailblazers fell behind early in Minnesota tonight, then woke up and tore through Minnesota like Patton through Europe. Portland didn't take any prisoners, and the outmanned, outgunned T-Wolves just got swallowed up at home again. To the Target Center, watch Christian Laettner. The rookie just won't quit on this, and then he'll finally lean in and get the hoop. T-Wolves led early. So much for them. The Blazers on the run. Rod Strickland, watch him push it up the floor. And he'll spot up and nail the jumper. Blazers by 1, they led by 5 at the break. Third quarter belonged to Portland. Thurl Bailey's ill-advised pass. What was that? The Tuck person picked off by Cliff Robinson. And look at the big man go to Jerome Kersey for 2. Blazers by 10. Sidney Lowe. It's going to be tough. Strickland misses the J, but look at Cliff Robinson. He was everywhere tonight. 22 points, 14 rebounds, 4 blocks, 3 steals, a career-high 8 assists. The numbers all over the place as Portland just chewed up and spit out Minnesota. At Miami, Don Shula would watch this game and watch Miami go into the refrigerator in the third quarter. The Heat scored 70 points in the first half, 7 on 2 of 18 shooting in the third quarter, went to overtime, lost their 4th straight game. They've lost 3 of these games in overtime, 3 of the 4, so it's just pathetic for the Heat at home. Craig Hodges, meanwhile, is an NBA veteran without a team, but that's not going to keep him from being part of the All-Star Weekend next month in Salt Lake. Hodges, who last played for the Bulls but is currently a free agent without a team, was asked to come back and defend his three-point shootout title. Nice move, huh?
Well, Larry Bird.
Larry Bird, I know. Why not have him back?
That's right. You know, you look at Miami, I don't know what Kevin Lockery said to those guys at halftime, but it didn't work.
Oh, I guess not. 2 of 18 after a 70-point first half.
But, you know, they do have a nice player back in the lineup. He missed much of the early part of the season.
Yeah, Steve Smith. Yeah, he will. They've been waiting for him to blossom.
That's going to help in the future. But still ahead on the old sportscast of record, we have got college buckets by the bushel basketball. Michigan's Wolverines facing a stiff challenge in the land of 10,000 lakes and one pretty good basketball team.
And Eric Lindros gets his day in court, and it turns into a future day in court. We'll have the specifics.
And let's go to Buffalo, where the Bills are packing for another January trip and hoping to bring back something other than bitter tears of disappointment this time. We will do all of that after we do all of this.
Goodbye, old Regal. Hello, new Regal. The 1993 Buick Regal sedan. This story isn't unusual. There's a real love affair between Buick owners and their automobiles. And the latest J.D. Power & Associates initial quality study ranks Regal sedan as the best car in its price class. The great American love story belongs to Buick.
Next time you're dining out, ponder this. The Discover card pays you a cashback bonus on every meal you charge, which means you shall soon acquire a small fortune. It pays to Discover.
When the pressure's really coming down, why worry about printing? Just call Sir Speedy. From design and typesetting to color printing and binding, Sir Speedy will handle it, and things will start looking up. Sir Speedy, the business printers, the right impression every time.
The state of Iowa has no major pro sports to boast, so Iowans take a great measure of pride in their collegiate competitions. And University of Iowa basketball gets a nice share of that adoration. But today, that program and folks all over the state are numbed by the shocking death of one of Iowa's star players. Even as they waved flags in Washington for the new president, the banner above the Iowa State Capitol flew at half-staff. This in memorial of 20-year-old forward Chris Street. Street was killed last evening in an automobile accident in Iowa City, leaving a team meal. Street, the junior, just 2 weeks away from his 21st birthday, was a leader of his team. He averaged 9 rebounds per game and 13 points. He was a native of Indianola, where his athletic prowess put the little farming community on the national map. But Street is being remembered tonight for much more than just basketball skill.
He'll be remembered as a player who came to play every game, played hard every night, sometimes didn't score as many points or get as many rebounds as he might, but he played hard, and you could always count on Chris Street to be there.
He was a person that always had the time to say a friendly hello, had a great sense of humor. He was the one that constantly picked his teammates and even the coaching staff up away from the playing floor. And he was a model student athlete.
We're just used to seeing him around, seeing him at practice, and, you know, talking to him. And now that, you know, we're not going to be seeing him, I guess it just really has a tough time to sink in.
Tough break indeed. The university has postponed both tonight's home game with Northwestern and the game coming up at Penn State Saturday. Neither has been rescheduled at this time. As for the accident which took Street's life, the only other injury was to Kimberly Vinton. It was a passenger in the Street vehicle. Ms. Vinton is hospitalized in Iowa City, but will reportedly make it through. Anyway, life and basketball go on elsewhere around our great land. Our first stop is the Dean Dome as far as the action is concerned. 4th-rated North Carolina hosting 10th-rated and unbeaten Virginia. Virginia hadn't won one of these on the road since 1980-81. Yes, those were the Ralph days, and they wouldn't get it done tonight either. Kevin Salvador gets it down low and slams it. He had 14 points, and down low the heels go again. Eric Montross with the hook. Virginia did a pretty good job on their big guys early, but they couldn't hold them in the second half. On the break, Brian Reese with the jam, and nothing would go Virginia's way at all. Junior Burroughs misses the easy layup. So back they come with a little control break does North Carolina. Brian Reese spots up, three-point territory, and just nails it. That'll kill you all night long. And then it is Reese again. This time off the alley-oop. They stepped on the gas pedal just a little bit more there, and it was 80-58 ball game Carolina's way when it was all done. A lot of folks around the country think that North Carolina may have the best team in the country, and boy, after watching them a few games this season, it's hard to argue with that, Nick.
Well, 5th-ranked Michigan walked into a potential landmine tonight when they had to play at Minnesota. The Gophers can bushwhack anybody at home, but not tonight. The Wolverines used a huge second-half burst to break a tie, and with the defense throwing up a wall, it all combined to spell victory for the Big Blue. We'll go to Minnesota, though. Chris Webber, well, wearing a mask to protect a broken nose. First half, Minnesota looks tough. Rashawn Leonard, the steal, and then the slam at the other end. He had 19, Minnesota by 2. Still in the half, Wolves fight back. Jalen Rhodes feeds Rob Reinke, who's, well, watch him squirm in for the bucket and the foul. Michigan led 32-30 at the half. Second half gets kind of rough. Watch Randy Carter with the elbow to the face of Webber. Remember, he's got that mask on. He's got the broken nose. But he would get up and be, well, more than okay, as you'll see. Tied at 44. Jalen Rose from way out throws it down, breaks the tie, and then it's the Chris Webber show. He releases inside. They went outside and then inside, and Minnesota had no defense. They just kept hammering it home, and so did Chris Webber. Behind the back, he makes like a guard here. Chris Webber, this guy is Mr. Everything tonight as Michigan rolls at Minnesota. More Big Ten. Madison, Wisconsin. Former Knicks coach Stu Jackson had his Badgers playing that up-tempo style against visiting Ohio State. Tracy Webster pushes it up, feeds Brian Kelly, and Wisconsin zips to a fast 12-point lead. But Randy Ayers and the Buckeyes close the gap. Freshman Greg Simpson with a slick strip, and then the dunk at the other end to whittle Wisconsin lead to 4 at the half. Ohio State spurted ahead after the break. Wisconsin went cold, but watch the Badgers' Mike Finley come flying into the picture with the follow. Wisconsin scored 11 straight points, and Finley took command. He had a career-high 34. Will he pass? I think not. Look at that. Was that a shot? Nothing but net there. And 34 for him, and a Big Ten win for Wisconsin over 25th-ranked Ohio State. Both teams now 2-2 in conference play. Fred?
What a shot. Anyway, we have no way of knowing for sure, but we do have to wonder, don't we? Do you think President Clinton and Vice President Gore might have been kicked back at the White House tonight in between parties? A few pretzels, a little pop, checking out the Arkansas-Vandy game? Why not? I mean, you know, the president had to be rooting for the 7th-rated Arkansas Razorbacks. The VP attended law school at Vandy. Those could be fighting words. Anyway, let's have a look at the action. Here we are, Rodney McMahon to Kevin Anglin for the layup right there. And then Arkansas comes back on a 4-on-1 situation. But Anglin steps in to break things up, get it ahead to Bruce Elder and Billy McCaffrey, who had a huge game for the layup right there. Now, Vandy beats the Arkansas press easily. And watch the pretty pass from Anglin to Ronnie McMahon for the basket. Arkansas tries to stay close. Number 31 is Roger Crawford. Nice shot from the baseline. Good move to shake himself loose, and he just drills it. But then the Hogs, Bob Shepard, tries to save it, but it goes to